Hey, this is comedian Marcus Monroe. You know me from those videos where I do stand-up on the subway as different characters, or you're listening to the Infinite Banter podcast with my buddy Mark. Enjoy it.
Infinite Banter podcast, baby.
Hello.
Right now, you're tuned in to the Infinite Banter podcast.
Checking out Infinite Banter.
This is the most special moment in your life listening to this show.
Infinite Banter.
Because we will banter on forever.
And you're listening to Infinite Banter with my man, DJ Soundwave.
You are the man. Love the show.
The Infinite Banter podcast.
You know what it's called. Infinite Banter with DJ Soundwave.
So I hope you don't lose your little podcast.
Infinite Banter.
Enjoy it.
Here it is, another episode of the Infinite Banter podcast. What is happening? My name is Mark Jolliffe, also known as DJ Soundwave, otherwise referred to as some dude who does content that sometimes you've heard about and you press play like you did today to hear this. So thanks for checking out the show. Got a little bit of a different one here, but one that I'm really ecstatic about. I haven't had many comedians on the show before, because I'm not funny. So we need somebody to come on here to bring some comedy to this podcast. Amp up the comedy level. Get it above sea level. So we got Marcus Monroe coming on the show today. He's a stand-up comic. He's a juggler. But he's probably most known, at least currently, as somebody who might have popped up on your Instagram feed or your Facebook feed, as somebody who will dress up as a character, go on a train, generally the New York subway trains, and he'll start doing stand-up based on the subject material of the costume he's wearing. So, for instance, he might be dressed up as Harry Potter and start doing jokes about Harry Potter. And he's holding a microphone stand. I mean, the whole thing is very much like a stand-up show, the way he presents it to the unwilling passengers on the trains. It's pretty cool because these things have popped up on my feed for a couple months now, and I'm like, yeah, these are really, really funny. I kind of want to know more about it. I want to know how he got started doing this and more about his comedy. So I looked him up, I reached out, and he's on the show today. So I'm really pumped. He's taken time off of wearing costumes that look like, a block of cheese or dressing up like Jesus. And he took some time to come on the podcast here, and we're going to talk about all kinds of fun stuff with Marcus Monroe. And you can see his stand-up show. He's actually coming to Chicago in August. I got to make sure I get out there. Just go to punchup.live/Marcus Monroe. I'll put a link in the show notes. Some of you you're not going to remember what I just said. So it's in the show notes. Make sure you follow him online on Instagram, Marcus Monroe. We're going to have a lot of fun coming up here, so stay tuned for that. But, this train can't go forward without going back. So let's go back to the last episode where I had, one of the icons in hip-hop music, Chill Rob G, on. We talked about a lot of things in that episode. Definitely go check it out. But here's a clip from the most recent episode with Chill Rob G here on the Infinite Banter podcast. Flashback.
First time I tried to write a song, it was everybody was, grabbing the mic and doing their little yes, y'alls back in the day. And I kind of took it a step further when I did mine. I wrote like a little rhyme to go along with it. And then, my homeboys just kept gassing me up like, yo, Rob, you gotta write some more of that stuff, and you gotta write that stuff down. So, I started writing the rhymes, and slowly but surely it progressed until I had like 100 bars worth of shit. And I went to my man's crib and laid it down on the track. I didn't have any real song structure. I just rhymed. And every once in a while I would stop and say, I'm a winner. And that was the name of the song, I'm a winner. So that was my first song way back in the day.
Definitely go back and check out that episode with Chill Rob G. I had a blast talking with him. We didn't just talk about music. We talked about seafood and poisons in food and things like that. It was a lot of fun. Make sure you seek out that new album from him, Survival of the Better, produced by my guy C-Doc, who's been on the show before. You can find that album on all platforms. Bandcamp has it. SpitSlamRecords.com if you want actual CDs. And, if you go to SpitSlam, they've got all kinds of different artists on there with CDs and merch and things that you could buy. So make sure you go check them out. Chill Rob G, the new album, Survival of the Better. Speaking of better, let's make this episode better. We got Marcus Monroe coming on the show, talking about the origins of this subway thing that he does. He does stand-up comedy to unwilling passengers just trying to go to work or come home from work on a New York subway. It's just funny because, if I'm ever on a train in Chicago, it's usually the Blue Line, which kind of goes from O'Hare Airport basically to downtown and then even goes further south. So if I'm ever on a train, more times than not, that's the one I go on. I mean, I'll go on the Red Line occasionally, Brown Line, whatever, but that's the main one. And if I'm ever sitting there and somebody gets on the train car and they start talking, which happens a lot, I'm really not paying attention. My rule is you don't make eye contact with strangers usually. You just look at your phone, you stare at whatever you're doing, you look out the window, whatever. And generally, they're up there talking because they want money or something, or giving you their story, and they're usually not dressed like, like a cool character from Star Wars or something. And you're just like, oh, please, just, don't start any trouble. Just go through the next car like you always do and bother those people. It's like, when's my stop? So this is kind of taken to another level, because I think if somebody walked on the Blue Line train doing what he does, I probably would pay attention. I might even laugh, which would probably ruin the video. So be thankful, Marcus, that I'm not on those train cars. But anyway, we're going to talk about the origins of all that and much, much more. Stay tuned. Marcus Monroe's on the show. And later on in the episode, talking so much about trains, I started thinking, like, there's a lot of movies that I've seen in my life that are based on trains. And I haven't done a list in a while. So I thought of writing down my favorite movies that are based on train travel. Came up with 6. I know it's kind of a weird number. Usually I like top 5 or top 10. I don't know. I just had 6. I started writing them down, and then I counted how many I had, and it was 6. So you know what? I'm not going to eliminate one of these just to make it a nice 5 number. We're going to do 6, because who's doing top 6s? Nobody is. This show does. Maybe I should just make that a thing. The top 6. What's your top 6? Why do I have to do a top 6? I don't know, because that's just what I do. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to talk about my 6 favorite movies that involve train travel. It's a pretty cool list. Hopefully you guys enjoy it and have seen some of these movies, so you know what I'm talking about. Let's get on with the show, the Infinite Banter Podcast. You can find it on all platforms. Rate and review it. Go on Spotify. Check out the playlist and the poll questions. You can follow the show on all social media at Infinite Banter Podcast. Definitely go on to YouTube. Type in Infinite Banter Podcast. You will find clips and episodes on there. You'll find the Things and Stuff videos where I'll take a collectible, some kind of toy or whatever, and I'll do a review on it. Many of the things I've reviewed, you can find at our sponsor, super7.com/Infinite Banter Podcast. I do see they've got the 3-pack of De La Soul from the video, Me, Myself, and I. They're all dressed up in the same outfits as the video. If I ever get that, I will definitely do a video about it, but they're a little pricey. So go on that website, super7.com/Infinite Banter Podcast. And if you guys buy stuff on there, well, then I could take that money and I could buy those De La Soul figures. You see how this works? You're helping me by helping you. Or not. All right, let's get into the show. Marcus Monroe is here. We're going to talk about train movies and a lot more. But before we do anything, we go out to Queens to talk to the one and only DMC. He gets on, he says this, and now it's official.
Yo, what's up? This is me, DMC, the K-I-N-G, the greatest MC in history. And right now, you're listening to Infinite Banter, because we will banter on forever, because this is the only place for all of y'all to ever be. I be Infinite Banter.
So all you Infinite Banter Podcast fans know the deal. This is the spot where I would play a song to help introduce the upcoming guest. Well, Marcus Monroe, as far as I know, does not have recorded music out there. We're not talking about any music on here. So what's actually going to be a good idea, in my opinion, because I have great ideas, is that we're going to play one of these videos that have gone on your favorite social media platform where he does the subway humor that we're talking about. So in this particular one, he's dressed up as a stormtrooper talking about Star Wars. Pretty hilarious. Of course, the visual helps a lot more because you can see him dressed up and you can see the reactions of the people on the train car. If you haven't figured out by now, this is a audio medium, so I can't help you with that. I would recommend, after playing this whole episode, jump on Marcus Monroe's Instagram or his Facebook and watch all these videos, and you'll get the full feel for it. But here's just a little taste, just to get you ready for this interview, to get you warmed up. Marcus on a subway dressed as a stormtrooper. And I believe he dropped this on May 4th. You know, that Star Wars holiday that you non-Star Wars fans are always confused. Why are people walking around with Star Wars crap? What is this holiday? Is this a holiday? What is going on? Why are people doing this? It coincides with comic book day, so it's always a big deal. All right, enough bantering. Let's get to it. Marcus Monroe, right here, dressed as a stormtrooper, talking about Star Wars, doing Star Wars jokes. And the other side of this, talk to the man himself about this particular bit and a whole lot more. But here we go. Marcus Monroe doing Star Wars material here on the Infinite Banter Podcast. Let's go.
I'm obsessed with Star Wars, so much so my wife is leaving me because of it. She's like, may divorce be with you. I'm like, but you're the only one for me. Now I left a Han Solo myself. But I'm a good guy. I would never use the Force, even though I like things hot and spicy. Sorry. Lady present, fellas. Darth Vader couldn't find love. He was looking in Alderaan places. Uh-oh. How does Darth Vader like his coffee? You'd think black, but no! You'd think black, but no! I once saw Luke Skywalker shopping at a secondhand store. Kind of fun. He's my favorite Jedi, hand down.
Yes, good. You are listening to the Infinite Banter podcast. Listen, turn it up. Oh, I'm afraid the podcast will be quite operational when your ears arrive. Yes, listen, do it. Do it now. Crank up the power. Unlimited power. Do it.
You're tuned in to the Infinite Banter podcast. I am Mark Jolliffe, and I'm really hyped to bring on my guest, a comedian that has caught my attention with his hilarious New York subway videos where he does stand-up based on a theme or a character that he dresses up as. You could see him dressed up as a stormtrooper or Michael Jackson or Cheese. You can check out his podcast called The Boyfriend's Podcast. He's also on tour. You can see him at a show coming up in Chicago on August 13th at the Comedy Bar. Welcome to the show, podcaster, juggler, and comedian, Marcus Monroe. What's up, Marcus?
Yes. How's it going, Mark?
You're
Thanks
good,
for
man.
having me on the show.
Man, I appreciate it. Thanks for coming on, man. It's funny, like yesterday or the day before, a friend of mine sent me your Stormtrooper, a Star Wars video. Like, he
yes.
DM'd it to me, and I was like, oh, yeah, I was bugging that guy. I got to bug him again. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, this is great.
Yes.
This is, the Stormtroopers, I'm a Star Wars nerd, so, I was like, that's right up my alley. Let me go ahead and follow up with Marcus and have him on the show, and, man, just thanks for doing this. It's really, really an honor.
I love that. No, that Stormtrooper video did really, really well, and I posted it on May 4th for Star Wars Day, May the 4th, of course.
Right.
And it's really funny is I was booked to perform on a cruise ship like that same week.
Uh-oh.
And so I'm
Hunter
on a
virus
cruise
or whatever it's called. You don't want to do that.
No, yeah. But I was only there for like 2 nights. And so I get on the ship and then the cruise director is like, what do you want me to say for your intro? And I'm like, just, from New York, award-winning comedian is fine. And he's like, okay, cool. And then I was like talking to him and I was like, yeah, do you see, this is, I did this thing where I dressed up as a stormtrooper and did stand up on the subway. And he looks at me and he's like, well, there's already a guy that does that. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, there's already a guy that dresses up in costumes to stand up in the subway in New York. I'm like, no, I know. I did that. He's like, yeah, but you shouldn't do that. Someone else does that. I was like, no, that's me. You're talking about me. He's like, what? I was like, yeah. And I showed him a video. He's like, oh, yeah, that is you. Pretty funny.
It's like the Spider-Man meme, right? You're pointing at each other.
Exactly. Like, that's me, brother. What are you talking about? I can't steal for myself.
Did he ever get to a point where he's like, oh, yeah, my mistake? Or was he just like, oh, yeah, it's you. Okay,
no,
anyway.
He was so perplexed as to, he didn't know, like, I did actual comedy, I don't think. So he was like, oh, I didn't know we'd have you here without your baggy costumes. I'm like, listen, my live show is very different than my social media, although I do talk about it on stage. I don't really get into like the puns and the costumes when you come see me live. I think people understand that's what I do on socials. That's not what I really do. Like in a live show, that would be so bad.
Oh yeah,
no one
you
would
show
laugh.
up.
People would leave so early.
Yeah, right. You're changing costumes in between sets and everything.
Yeah,
I got to go backstage and
a lot of downtime. I need a lot of filler. It would be so awkward. We definitely talk about it, but it's just like, yeah, doing it on stage is bad.
Well, I would imagine a lot of people who are there are familiar with you because of the stuff on Instagram and YouTube and things like that.
Totally.
So
yeah.
And I wonder, I wouldn't be that person, but I could see somebody sitting there like, when's he gonna dress up like a gopher? What the heck is this?
Right. Exactly.
He's just a guy doing real stand up.
What the hell? Bait and switch.
And I bet you the guy at the cruise ship, just to go back to that for a second, he's probably like, oh, thank God there's only one of these. Okay, I thought there was another guy doing this.
Yeah,
I'm never taking a trade again.
Yeah, the funny thing is I don't even want to give him any credit, but there was a guy in another country who wrote me an email and he was like, hey, do you mind if I do your subway stuff in my country? And I was like, well, yeah, kind of. That's kind of my thing. And he's like, no one in my country knows who you are. I'm like, well, you do. You're in that country and you messaged me. So I'm sure people in my country know who I am.
Right.
And then he's like, oh, okay, I won't do it. And then he wrote me an email like a month later. He's like, I'm actually going to do it.
Of course, right. He went to the proper channels and he's like, oh, I thought he would say yes.
Yeah, I know,
I'm still going to do
what
it.
are you doing?
Screw this guy.
Yeah. Then all the comments are like, "You just stole this from the guy in New York." So I'm like, "Yeah, people in your country know about it."
Wow.
Crazy.
That's
crazy.
That's on another level, right? Because you're doing something that obviously you came up with and your idea, and to think that somebody wants to not just do it, but it's in another country where, in theory, he thinks you won't mind. He'll never come here. No,
yeah,
man,
like
no.
you never see anything from the internet from someone else from another country. I'm like, you do all the time. What are you talking about?
That's what the internet
the
is.
algorithm doesn't stop.
It's called the internet, dude.
You know how many videos of snakes I get from like people in India playing with cobras? Like, come on.
Maybe that's your next
So
next bit. You'll be a snake charmer,
Dude,
or whatever.
I had a snake. I was so infatuated with snakes growing up that I went up north. I was like from Wisconsin, so it was Milwaukee. Went up north, maybe Door County or something. On summer vacation, my dad and we found a snake. We put it in a box. And we wanted to bring it home as a pet because I had like a nice big aquarium for it.
Oh, geez.
But the snake, we brought it home. We had it for 2 days. Then it gave birth to like 14 little babies. So there was a point in my life where I had 15 snakes in my house.
Now you need 15 rats or whatever to feed them.
Exactly.
That's
they
funny.
ate like crickets. They were too small for rats at the time.
Oh, gotcha.
A lot of bugs. A lot of bugs.
I grew up in Chicago. I live in suburbs of Chicago, Mount Prospect.
Very cool.
As a kid, there was a park by my house, and I did catch a garter snake and brought it home.
Ooh.
And I thought, oh yeah, I could just feed it bugs, or I'll just catch a bug outside. But like you said, 2 days later, not that it was pregnant, it just got out of the tank. Because I just put like saran wrap and punched holes in it like an idiot.
Oh yeah.
I throw a stick and some grass in there. That'll be like its habitat or whatever. And it got out, and we never saw it. I don't know what happened. We were moving, so maybe the next people who lived in an apartment found a garter snake under the sink or something. Stupid stuff kids do.
I like looking at snakes totally when they're like in glass and protected, like they can't come out. Like if I see a snake in the wild, I jump like a little kid. I get so scared. I hate that.
Right. I mean, who's got the time? Because I know like there's a king snake and I think it's a coral snake or something. You have like there's the color pattern that tells you which one's venomous.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have time to remember which one is which.
Not at all.
I'm running.
Not at all, man. I don't. I was at the Bronx Zoo one time and a snake just like came out of the bushes and just like right in front of me on a path. I'm like, I'm done. I'm gonna go in the car. I
was a dumb kid when I grabbed that snake and brought it home, but the version of me now, no way in hell am I.
No, I don't have health insurance. I'm not gonna go get a snake bite and then not know what to do.
But it's a good transition. I have a couple of pet turtles, and you dressed as a turtle on the subway.
Yes.
My favorite part of the video is that you did the whole thing where turtles go on their back and they can't get up. Not one person helped you. No one helped you. I was like waiting for someone to try to help. They don't care.
Yeah, that was so awkward. It was like I was on the ground on the subway for maybe like 20 seconds, but it felt like minutes, hours for me because I'm just sitting there not knowing if people are gonna kick me, curb stop me, like if they're gonna like tell me to F off.
Spin you around.
Yeah, totally. And I thought I was gonna cut the video, cut that part, like just while I'm still on my back, but I decided to keep it in where like I stand up because it was so awkward, just me standing up and then the microphone falls over and then I didn't know what to say. But that actually, I remembered that whole train ride. That in that one car, all those jokes hit. Like for some reason, everyone in that car, not saying everyone laughed, but like everyone I think understood the jokes and got the bit, even though their faces didn't show it. I think they did. And because I remember leaving that car and people like clapped for me.
That's what's up.
I think they were either clapping because the jokes are funny or clapping because they were happy I was leaving the car.
Oh, that's probably that one. It might be that one.
Probably, but that was kind of fun. But I always like whenever I'm filming these things, it gives me so much anxiety. So whenever I get like a little bit of a smile or a laugh or a clap, it just is validation. It keeps me going because sometimes I dress up as a character. I'm like, oh, no one likes this one. Like the Scarecrow from The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, right.
No one was on board with that one at all, and I thought that was going to be such a good crowd pleaser.
It's a classic.
But no one liked. I thought so too, but no one cared. No one liked it.
I've always been a Tin Man person. Maybe that's what you got to do next time.
I think I wasted all my Wizard of Oz jokes on the Scarecrow.
No more writing Wizard of Oz jokes. They got them all out.
That's done. That's so hard.
That can is empty. But
yes, exactly.
For people
There's
listening,
no more oil.
Right. There's no more oil. So for people listening, in case you didn't catch on, so Marcus here, he does stand-up comedy, but he also will go on a subway train and he'll dress up as a character and he'll do stand-up. And the jokes are, like you said, sometimes they hit. You could tell from the people in the train car that they're looking and they're like, what is this guy doing? And some of them laugh and some of them are they don't even look up. It's almost like, I don't care that this guy is dressed like a ninja here on the train. I am not, no thanks. No money for you.
Yeah. I never, for the record, I never asked for money because I'm just doing this for socials. So I if I was asking for money, it would be it would change the dynamic of
Without
everything.
a doubt.
And I even tell people once I get into the train, I go, hey guys, I'm gonna tell you sorry to bother you, gonna tell you some jokes for one stop. I'm not asking for any money, so they're free jokes. Feel free to listen, just please don't beat me up. I'll say something like along those lines.
That's your disclaimer.
Yeah, because I want people to listen and not feel like they have to pay me money, because I don't want people to oh, if I show any interest, he's gonna expect money. I'm no, I'm not doing that. I want people to know it's only one stop too, so I'm not gonna be bothering them the whole time. 30 seconds tops, maybe a minute, depending on what stop we're at. But I'm usually not in the car that long. And then I go to another car and another car. And I just keep moving. I do about 8 stops and then I'm home.
I think
go down
I did
4
notice.
or 5, come back up.
Yeah, when I noticed the videos, sometimes they are in a different car. Sometimes.
Oh yeah.
I've watched some. I binged them for the last 2 days, Marcus. So I feel like
I'm sorry about that.
No, it's all good, man.
You're gonna start repeating your punchlines to your.
Yeah, right.
What are you doing for lunch today? Well,
I did play my daughter because she likes Taylor Swift, the Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift half and half deal.
Yes.
The jokes didn't land, but she's I don't know if she's the right audience, but I thought maybe you like this one. Hey, look at this. No? Okay.
She's like, nope. That was a fun one. So that costume came about because I wanted to do a half and half. And I looked up on the internet, how to make a Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift costume. And there was a tutorial of a guy that made one. I was like, oh my gosh, I'll just follow this tutorial. And then I realized he lived in New York. So I became kind of a detective and started stalking him and added him on Instagram, on Facebook, and just kept messaging him. He was in a band, so I followed the band on Instagram and started messaging the band. And then this guy finally was oh, hey, sorry, I wasn't on social media this week. What's up? And I'm do you still have this costume? I do stand up in the subway. And he's like, oh yeah, you can borrow it. So I just met this random guy in New York. Turned out to be a really cool guy named Jared. And and now whenever I have an interesting costume idea, he's a costume enthusiast, so he helps me out.
Oh man, that's a good link right there.
From time to time.
Yeah,
he's got another half and half costume I might do. I think it's Mike Myers and Michael Myers. So it's Mike Myers from
SNL and
from it's I think Austin Powers, then half Mike Myers from Halloween.
Oh, that's great. Oh man. Yeah, I was gonna ask you because I'm a big horror fan. I love Jason and Freddy and Michael and all that stuff. I was I didn't see any videos for that, but maybe that's too scary to go on a train, unless it's Halloween.
Well,
but
I did a zombie when I first started. The first one I ever did was a zombie, so that was kind of scary, I think.
Right.
And I'm trying to think of anything else that's been
it is a train. People have seen worse than, some guy dressed up like Jason Voorhees.
Totally. I did a centaur. That's more sci-fi fantasy.
Right.
But I did the devil. That's kind of cool.
There you go.
Did you see that one?
I did. That one. And I think the scariest costume you wore, and I think it's more scary for you than the passengers, was the Trump shirt.
Oh my God, yeah. That was terrifying.
I watched that. I was like, oh man, God bless you for doing that one, because that's a tough gig there. And one guy gets up and he's like, "Fuck off," or something.
Yeah, he thought I was an actual Trump supporter, probably talking shit. But if he stayed and listened to the jokes, I think he would have really appreciated where I was taking it.
See, he didn't get it.
Yeah, it was all satire. But no, he definitely didn't get it. But I think also some of the scarier ones are ones that people might be offended by, just Jesus, or I have a priest coming up. I haven't recorded it yet. I'm doing a priest, or Stephen Hawking's. People might have been offended that I did that.
Right.
But it's been pretty good. People are pretty cool, I think, and they understand like it's not worth my time and energy to like beat this kid up who's just dressing up as someone and trying to tell jokes. I hope.
Right after they hear the first couple of jokes, they realize like, all right, this guy is, he's not doing anything that's
harmless.
Right. It's pretty harmless. You might even think it's dumb. You could either look up or keep looking at your phone, whatever you want to do.
Yes. And there are some jokes that I say that are like a little bit more edgy, and those jokes I usually will wait until I'm like 2 or 3 jokes in. And I'll start so I'll kind of loosen up the crowd a little bit with like some good puns, like my favorite ones of whatever character I'm doing. And then if there's like a joke that's kind of like maybe like insensitive or like on the line,
right.
Like I'll wait till like I know the car kind of likes me, and then I'll say like an inappropriate joke, and then I usually can get a bigger reaction from them if they kind of like me at first.
Yeah,
and
you
then
gotta warm them
kind
up.
of just yeah, it's warm them up then destroy it. Yep.
Yeah, a good example of that is, I'm a big wrestling fan, and there's the wrestling one, and you eventually got to the joke with the RVD joke. The what do you get when you and you even apologized to Rob Van Dam in the video, which is like, oh man, he sees this.
He watches my videos.
Oh, he does.
I know he's a fan.
That's great.
He doesn't follow me, but he likes a lot of my videos, and I'm a huge wrestling fan, so I love Rob Van Dam, and I think he's so cool. He's still at it. He's still doing it. And RVD just to me sounds like STD, and he does this like RVD thing where he points to himself.
Right.
And so I did that in the subway, saying, "What happens if you sleep with Rob Van Dam? You get a STD." And yeah, it was a funny joke, but I felt bad afterward that I don't want anyone to think like you get an STD if you sleep with Rob Van Dam. You probably don't. You probably get like a frog splash. And so I felt bad. And he's never commented on that video, or like I never got a notification that he ever watched it or liked it, but I'm sure enough wrestling fans have tagged him in that and stuff, and I'm sure he's seen it. I just feel bad because I never want to make anyone the butt of the jokes. Certain types of people, fine, but not necessarily. I don't want to punch down on those people.
Right. It's different if you're doing like an Epstein joke versus a Rob Van Dam joke. Obviously, you have respect for
totally.
Right. Yeah, for Rob Van Dam, and Epstein is Epstein. But
yeah, the Epstein joke was fun. Yeah, there is a list, and he wrote it on a barely legal pad.
That was great.
I have low self-esteem.
There you go.
Yeah. I hope this train stops at Sesame Street because that's where I get off.
You think he said something like, "I want to retire and have kids," and then you that was the joke.
Yeah. I don't want any of this. I just want to retire. Get married, have kids.
That was the punchline. You think you don't? There's no more joke to that. That is the joke.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes that's the funniest part too, when people are waiting for another punchline. I'm like, nope, that's it. Just cuts off and gets to the next joke.
There were a couple others that really stood out too. The gopher one is hilarious because you got a cameo in there. Bobby Moynihan. I'm watching. I was like, is that Bobby Moynihan from Saturday Night Live? Like, holy shit, he's sitting there.
I was contacted by Disney on Monday to do this gopher video for the movie Hoppers, dressed up as like a beaver? Was that a beaver? Is that beaver?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not an expert.
Gopher?
Yeah, one of those two, right?
One of the two. I can't remember. But that was like, okay, sure. But they were like, you have to get the costume, write the jokes. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so much work. So I wrote like 4 really like clean beaver jokes or gopher jokes. I think it was the gopher. And then submitted them like that same day. They're like, okay, these are great. Then I had to get a costume, and there's this costume company called HalloweenCostumes.com, and they sponsor a lot of my videos. Like they provide the costumes for free, which is something that they just started doing like a few months ago, which is
awesome.
great because I spent so much money in costumes last year.
That was one of my questions. It was going to be like, are you making these? Are you paying for them? Are you renting them and returning them like an Amazon thing where you get your money back?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of both, yeah. Okay, so about the costumes real quick. Yeah. So I make a lot of them. The ones I can't make, I'll buy online. The ones that the costume company like doesn't provide, I'll like have to buy on Etsy, Amazon, eBay, and just kind of like mix and match different pieces together. A lot of times that's what I'll do. And I have so many costumes now. It's really nice. I don't really like recycle them, but if anyone wants to buy some costumes from me, hit me up. So yes, so this thing, so Disney was like, great, we really want you to like help promote this movie. We can't pay you, but we can get like Bobby Moynihan and Piper, who's also the lead in this movie, on the train with you. And I'm like, great. And that day they're like, actually, we can't be on the train, but can you do it like outside the train? And I'm like, what? Outside the train? I'm like, no, that's not going to work. It's going to, it changes the whole thing. And I was like, if we can't do it, we can't do it. I kind of said it like that. So I was like, you know, I'm not going to like make this video then have them like, it wouldn't work that way. If I just like go up to them and tell them the jokes, they're going to be like, okay, what the hell? And they were like, okay, they can be on the train with you for just for one stop. And I was like, what is going on? I was like, okay, I don't need them for that long. I just need them for like a little bit. And then like 10 minutes before we shot, they were like, actually, we can do 2 stops. And I was like, Jesus, okay. I was like, you guys contacted me about this and you're making it so hard for me to do this. But then we met and everyone was super, super cool. We got into the train station. I was like, all right, Bobby, Piper, here's how it'll go. And they had like 7 other people around them. It was like a pretty crowded situation because I had my videographer, they had their PR people and their handlers and assistants and everything. And so we only really had like a minute to make anything happen from that video. And thankfully, like Bobby's such a great improviser. And I was like, let's just improvise a scene or something. And so, yeah, we did it really quick and it worked out really, really well. And I was really happy how that video turned out. And then the people at Disney were actually really great. Of course, I understand like schedules and like insurance and like they're stars of this Disney movie. They got to be protected. I get it. And they were awesome.
Yeah. And, you know, as a viewer, like, okay, so I am completely unaware of all of that. So that's crazy that was, you know, to promote a movie and that they were quote unquote planted there. Right. But it came off as legit and, you know, organic. So that's what's great about it. And it just felt like they were on the train. It's New York. I mean, you see celebrities probably every now and then. So it seems logical that they would be sitting on the train and, you know, kind of not even know who you are and kind of like, you know, hey, here's how you should do this joke. You're not delivering it right.
Totally. Yeah. Oh yeah. I've had celebrities on the train with me without me knowing. And that's been fun. They'll send me like a message after or something. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I would imagine it happens a lot, right?
Oh yeah, sure.
And the Pinocchio one, might be my favorite because there's
really?
Well, I don't know why. It shouldn't be. It should have been the Star Wars and a wrestling one.
I like that.
Because there's a joke in there. He said his brother, I think it's his brother, his name is Pistachio, and when he lies, he grows a nut. And I had to put the phone down and to like go walk away for a second and come back to it. I'm like, I'm sure there's different jokes people recite to you. Like, oh, this is my favorite one.
Yes.
And you probably never know which one's going to land. And you're like,
never know.
The one I really like, you don't even think is funny, but you like this one. Okay.
It is funny. A lot of, you know, you never know which is going to be the joke that people are going to like resonate with the most. And I try to put like the best joke in the very first clip so people like okay, you know, you don't want to put a bad joke up the top, people will swipe away.
Right.
My favorite jokes are always like the first few jokes. But sometimes like if you want to make a second video, you want there to be good jokes in every video. So if I'm able to make it like a longer video or 2 videos, I'll put a good joke at the end or like something weird that happened at the end. Like usually at the end of the video, it'll be like an exchange with someone on the subway if something happened, which I did, the Harry Potter video today that I'm posting has like a weird exchange with a fan at the end. It was pretty funny.
Oh, I gotta check that one.
Guy who just like hated J.K. Rowling. It was like, I hate her. She's such a fucking bitch. I was like, oh God, you're right. I agree with you. And then he's probably, he goes, you probably didn't expect an Indian accent from me. It was just like an Indian guy sitting there. And I was like, oh yeah, where are you from? And then he goes, Upper East Side. I'm like, oh, okay.
It's great.
It's great. I love it.
It's New York, right? I mean, it's like, what are you going to do?
I love it.
Where else? Well, I mean, Chicago probably to a lesser extent. But yeah, I mean, you're going to get
okay, so I did the L Train. I did comedy on the L Train.
I did see that one. That's awesome. With the Bears outfit
last year as a Bears player. That was so fun. I was doing it. I had shows at the Den Theater. So I was promoting those. And now I have shows at the Chicago Comedy Bar. So excited.
Yeah, man. In August. That looks like it. Is it just one night? I saw August 13th.
Yes, it's just one night, August 13th. Really looking forward to being back. Chicago is such a good comedy town. It really is. You had a lot of good comics come out of Chicago. But you also have a lot of, it's just like a comedy hotspot. And like the crowds are so good. I love it.
Yeah, we definitely, a lot of the improv stuff starts here. You know, some SNL guys and even SCTV people have come through here.
Olympics, you have Second City.
Right.
Really good stuff. Yeah, when I did the L train, I was on the red line, and I don't really know much about Chicago, but apparently, like, we got into Chinatown, and then we were like, I was told to get off the train.
Yeah, because you go to the south side of the city.
Yeah, I guess so. Is that bad? Is it bad to keep going?
I mean,
on the red line?
I mean, it depends on, your perception. I don't say that it's necessarily bad, but people who, how do I say it? People who don't know the area just see something on the news and they think, oh my God, Chicago, they shoot everybody and they kill everybody and it's a murder town. And it's not really like that. It's like that every big city has stuff, right? But I wouldn't say you were in trouble, but you might have.
Okay.
Let's just put it this way. It would have been like the Apollo crowd. If you might have gotten more of a tougher crowd as you went
like
south.
More of an urban.
Yes,
crowd.
right,
I don't mind that. I think that's kind of fun. Like sometimes there's certain trains in the city that I could take that will take you more like to the Bronx or like to Harlem, and then it's gonna like be a little bit not like scarier or dicier, but like a lot of like a lot of interesting people want to talk to you when you get into those areas, and it becomes a way more interactive experience than I wanted. I did that one. I learned that when I was Columbus. I don't know if you saw the Columbus video. I dressed up as Christopher Columbus for Columbus Day.
I didn't see that one.
But I'm not. But I made all like pro Indigenous people jokes. They were all anti-Columbus. But if you see me at first sight, you're like, wow, that guy loves Columbus. He's dressed up as Columbus.
Right.
And I was on a train that I usually don't take, and I went uptown, and it was this guy wanted to beat my ass, and he made that very clear and very loud in front of everybody. So yeah, if you want to see me almost get my ass kicked,
oh man,
watch that video.
All right, everybody, take a note. Watch the Christopher Columbus video. And see Marcus.
I'll never dress up as Christopher Columbus ever again.
No, explore this, jerk off, and he goes to hit you or something. All right, it's. I didn't catch that one.
Thankfully he didn't do that, but it got dicey.
Yeah, man. And just to clarify the Chicago thing, and New York, same. I'm from the north side. We got our bad parts, we got our good parts. South side's got good parts and bad parts. Everything's kind of it depends on your point of view. But yeah, if you go up north, maybe you have a little more of a crowd that's not as tough. Or I think if you go south side, you might get a little more heckling or somebody telling you to fuck off or might want to punch you more. Or the north side, someone might just give you a stare.
I lived in Harlem for like 10 years, so I understand like the culture and the spirit of that part of the city, and I do love it a lot. It's just not conducive for stand up in the subway.
Right. And let's get to the origins of that. So do you remember the first thought you had is like, I'm gonna do stand up on the subway and dress up as whatever the jokes are based on it? Was there like an origin to that, or did it just kind of pop in your head?
Yeah. So what happened was, and if you go on my social media, you go like way down 2-3 years, you can see what happened. So I was trying to figure out what to do on social media. Every performer, every comedian, if you're trying to make it big on social media, you're trying to think of a thing that's like yours that you can do and repeat. And no matter what, you can just, people will always be expecting that type of content from you. And I didn't know what I was going to do. So I was trying a whole bunch of stuff. I was like going up to people in the city and just telling them jokes. Like they'd be like walking by on the street. I just kind of like hit them with a one-liner, like a drive-by, and just see their reaction. And that was kind of fun. And while I was doing that, I went down into the subway and started doing my own jokes on the subway as myself. And I was doing like, like little tweets or one-liners I would do in my show. And it was funny, but I bombed terribly. It didn't work well.
Right.
And I was like, oh God, I can't keep doing this as me, but it's really funny. I want to keep doing it. So I decided, I was like, oh, Halloween's coming up. I'll do a zombie and do like a cool zombie that tells jokes. And I'm like, all right. So I did that, and it worked better. I wouldn't say like I had the delivery down or like the double delivery on the punchlines. I didn't really understand like how to edit the video that well, but I was like, I know there's something there. So then I did it again for Thanksgiving, and I was like, I'll just do holidays. And I did the Grinch for
that was great, yeah.
for Christmas, and that the Grinch really took off. And I was like, okay, after the Grinch, I was like, all right, this might be something. We might have something here. So then I did Jesus for Easter, and then people got mad at me, so I did the devil to counterbalance people who got mad at me that I did Jesus, and that just made people even more mad.
Right.
But it got a lot of attention, a lot of views. I was like, oh, this is funny. And so then I stopped doing the holidays. I just started doing like types of people. I'll do like an Amish guy or knight, an Elvis impersonator. Just like not necessarily specific people. And then I started like after like 100 of them, I was like, all right, I need to do specific people. I'm running out of ideas. So then I started doing like certain people like what's like a person like Harry Styles or Justin Timberlake or Michael Jackson, do people like that. So yeah, and it was like, like everything, some of them do really, really well. Some of them don't do well at all. I never know which ones are going to do well. The ones I think are going to do well never perform well. The ones that I'm like, oh, I don't know if I should even post this. Those are the ones that always tend to like get like, 1 million views or something. I'm like, I don't understand it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been super fun. It's been great. Yeah, they're fun to do. I enjoy the process of coming up with the costume or the character and then writing the jokes and then like seeing it through and going on the train and doing it and seeing which ones work. Though it is a fun little experiment, I will say.
Yeah, that was even to think, like, a lot of times I'm sure, like, for instance, like the wrestling one, when I'm watching, I'm thinking, like, maybe these people don't even know who Roman Reigns is. They're not going to get these jokes. But me, as a wrestling nerd, I got all of them. They all landed. But I'm not in the train car. So you're not going to get that instant, just like when you're on stage doing stand-up, you don't have that instant gratification of knowing that joke landed. You can do it on the train, like, oh, man, I think I bombed. And then, like you said, you put it online somewhere, and people are sending it everywhere, and it's, going viral, as they say, right? And it's like because the audience, that you wanted to hit, they actually were able to find it, unlike, they weren't on the train that day. So you just far it didn't work.
It's like the cringier the audience is, the more the people on the train don't get the jokes, it seems like the better the video will do.
Yeah.
But it's also like makes it a lot harder for me to film it because I'm thinking, oh my God, everyone hates me. I don't like, and I'm a people pleaser. I don't like confrontation. Don't like to ruffle feathers. I don't want to get in anyone's way. I'm from Milwaukee. I'm trying to be like a nice like Midwestern guy, and then people are. That's why I film during the day and I try not to film during like rush hour or anything. But you never know.
All right, because people are jamming in there and they're going to hit you, or it's just going to be uncomfortable and they're not going to want to deal with you.
Exactly. And of course, you need the train to have people on it, otherwise you won't get any reactions at all. But you just want to get like a good balance, a lot of some open space and some people. It's good.
Yeah, talk about that with as far as like doing it on stage when you're doing an actual stand-up act, which is not anything like what you're doing in the subway cars. Was it hard at first because you're seeing like you just said, like it's kind of cringy, no one's really reacting to it. Now that that's a good thing. You don't, because I think if you're on a train car and they're all like rolling in the aisles, laughing at your jokes, it steps all over what you're doing, right? So you almost need them to not give a shit. Where like at a club, you want them to be like laughing and kicking and everything. So
totally,
it's a dynamic to that.
Different,
yeah,
it's two different types of performance and comedy too. Like when I'm performing on the subway, I'm kind of just trying to get the lines out, trying to get the jokes out without me stuttering, and I'm not really worried about if people on the train are going to laugh or not. I'm just kind of like, I want to get it out clearly and I want to like have a good take, because I don't have much time and I probably repeat each joke like 3 or 4 times on the subway.
Right.
And I'm just trying to get them out clearly. And so like without my video guy shaking too much. My buddy Drew Jordan films me. He's a great dude. Really talented video guy. And in my live show, I'm just trying to connect with the audience. I'm trying to, it's an energy exchange between me and the audience. It's back and forth. It's a banter. The subway's more one-sided, more me telling jokes to Drew or to the crowd who's there. But my live show is me trying to engage with the audience and tell them jokes. I'm still telling the jokes. I'm not saying like I want everyone to talk to me, but I'm saying it's more of a even exchange versus being on the subway, which is like a one-sided agreement.
Yeah,
people on the subway did not agree to be at a comedy show. People who are at my show agreed to see me. So it's more of like a beneficial thing for like, okay, like we came to the club tonight because you want to hear my jokes and I want to tell you my jokes. On the subway, I'm going to tell you my jokes. I don't care if you don't want to hear the jokes.
Right. Yeah, it's got to be, I'm sure at first it was a little bit probably like you just had to figure out how this was going to work out. Like, okay, they're not going to laugh at these jokes, but that's okay because like you just said, this is not a contract where they paid to see me. I'm kind of pushing my comedy on them and they're going to have to sit through it. And the reaction is, I can't really judge what I'm doing based on their reaction. So I'm sure that took some time to kind of figure out all that as a comic, right?
Totally. Yeah, totally. And I think people that also come to my show, my live show, they know, I'd say 90% of them understand what I do in a live show is different than the subway because it wouldn't work. Like if you're expecting the dad jokes and the costumes and the puns, I definitely talk about it. And like I'll do a few. But to make a whole hour out of that, people would just be so mad, and I think they would just leave right away.
Oh yeah, man. How long were you doing stand up before you started doing the subway stuff? Have you been doing it years and years?
For a long time.
Oh, okay.
For like over 10 years. Yeah, it's so funny because like I've been doing performing. I started as a juggler, right? Like I started performing juggling shows, and I would perform at like Summerfest in Milwaukee, all the festivals. I'd street perform, and then I got better. So I started performing inside and I would do like cruise ships and performing arts centers and theaters and comedy clubs doing my juggling act. And then in like 2018, 2017, I got more into stand-up and less focused on juggling, and decided to really just like put the emphasis on the stand-up and writing jokes. And then I got, passed at the Comedy Cellar in New York, which is like one of the hardest clubs to get into.
Oh yeah.
So I perform at the Comedy Cellar. I perform at all the clubs in New York City doing stand-up. And now a lot of my friends don't even know that I used to juggle, even though it was like something I did for over 20 years. It was making my bread and butter. And now I've kind of just like shifted and started doing stand-up comedy. And then it's great that the subway videos are popping off, because a lot of people come to the shows now because of the subway videos, not because I used to juggle or they want to see juggling or they've seen my stand-up clips. It's all because of the subway clips. I'm so happy that's the reason, because I'm new to a lot of people. So a lot of people who haven't seen me before, they've only seen my clips on the subway, don't really know what my live stand-up is like. So it's so fun for me to then like prove myself as an actual comedian to the people at the show, and everyone loves it. We have a great time. The shows are so fun. And I should say, after every show, I do photos, a free meet and greet with the whole entire audience. Awesome. I stay for as long as everyone gets a photo and we can chat for a little bit. Stay till everyone has their photo. It's a great time. I love meeting the people at the shows. I'm really, really enjoying it. Really happy that people like these videos. It's great. I never thought, when I started doing these videos, that it would change my life the way it has. But it's so crazy.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's almost like you found something, like a niche to help propel your stand-up, which is, the base of all this, right? The foundation of it. But I guess your juggling is too, because when I was watching went down the rabbit hole on YouTube, I was like, wait, he's a juggler too? This is, wow. Yep. This is pretty cool. Yep. I mean, like, I'm a big Steve Martin fan, so immediately I was thinking of like stand-up to do juggling. He's the only guy who came to my mind at all that has ever done that, kind of had the two together. So I was like, oh, that's awesome. You don't see many people doing juggling and also being funny at the same time. Usually they're doing the juggle thing and then, they go off stage. Like, this is pretty cool, man. When you started doing stand-ups, did you start doing open mics, or did you have like a pretty good, foot in the door when you started doing some of the stage stuff?
Yeah, I kind of already had a foot in the door from the juggling thing. And so what I would do is people would book me on their shows, and I would do like a little bit of juggling. Then I would just like do mostly stand-up. And then like I just eventually like phased out the juggling. The juggling. So it's just like all stand up. So I never really had to do the open mics because I was already like performing as a juggler doing comedy.
Oh, that's cool.
And then I just all of a sudden stopped juggling, and no one really seemed to notice or care.
And that's a pretty funny thing to say. They stopped noticing that I don't juggle. Like something that's obvious to notice.
This is what he does. So, it's pretty fun. And, people trusted me. I think I'm probably, I kind of, proved my worth as like a juggler, as a performer. So many shows as doing like juggling comedy, it went so well. So people like kind of had faith and trust in me as a performer, that I wasn't going to go up there and like bomb terribly if I just tried stand up, because the juggling and comedy act I would do was so strong. So I think people kind of understood, and I'm not trying to be like cocky about it either.
Right.
But like, I wouldn't go, like, as a performer, I wouldn't go on stage with something that's like just half baked and just try to wing it. I'm one of those people who wants to always give my best, Even if it's a show for 10 people, I want to do the best show I can for those 10 people. So I think people appreciate that, and they saw that in me, and just didn't care that I didn't have a bag of props with me.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm sure you've probably heard from other comics, like, they had to go through the open mic circuit, right? Because I remember I did a few like 15 years ago. I was like, maybe I should try this, and I did it a couple times, and it's like, I don't know, man. This seems like a lot of free work to be doing to eventually get to the goal. So I'm sure you've heard from comics who are like, I had to do open mics like 3 or 4 years before I ever got, a spot somewhere. So that's amazing that juggling was your kind of foot in the door. That's pretty cool. Nobody else would probably say
totally.
that.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was my foot in the door, but I don't think if my jokes weren't good, like, I don't think I could sustain that. You know what I mean? So, like, thankfully, I'm still here.
Right.
A while after I stopped like juggling full time. Not to say I won't juggle if you come see me live. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Just depends on the mood I'm in, what kind of show it is.
Right.
If the audience wants it. I don't ever like travel with my props, but sometimes like I'll find like 3 knives in the kitchen of a comedy club or something, and some bottles, just go crazy.
Like, we couldn't get your steak cut for you, sir, because I don't know, some jerk off stole all the knives from the kitchen. Oh, he's on stage.
Totally.
That guy.
Heck yeah. Dude, I did a birthday show at the Dojo of Comedy in New Jersey at the beginning of May, and at the end I asked the owner of the club to bring me like the 3 of the biggest knives he could find in the kitchen. And he brought me 3 of I've never seen knives this big before. I juggled all 3 of them, and luckily I didn't drop anything or cut myself.
Well, I mean, just
pretty
like
sweet.
That conversation, though. Like, can you imagine, like, on the other side of it, like, you want me to do what? Give you 3 knives?
Totally,
in a room full of people here?
Come on, man.
I trust you.
Come on, just give me the knives.
Give me the knives.
And then I have my own insurance, so I tell them, hey, I have insurance. I have a performer's insurance. I don't have health insurance, but I do have performer's insurance.
Shoulder shrug, like, yeah, sounds legit to me.
Yeah, totally. He's like, just step back. Don't be close to the audience. I'm like, all right. His stage is like 2 feet in length and diameter. It's like a very, very intimate venue.
Oh man, that's
fun. Loved it.
Awesome.
Love that room.
That's awesome. And you not just the Subway videos, but if people go on your YouTube, I watched the air fryer one. Holy crap, dude!
Oh yeah,
that is genius because it hits home because my wife in January went to Costco and she's like, we got to get an air fryer. I'm like, I don't even know what that means. Like, what is an air fryer? Like, we don't use a stove anymore, and we bought this stupid thing, and we rarely use it. I think I used it like 3 times in like 5 months.
That's awesome.
But I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm not treating my air fryer right because you treat yours great. You give it eyes.
I take mine out.
Yeah, you took it on a plane. I just love that video, man.
Thank you. I gotta rewatch that. I forgot about the plane part. Yeah, it was like a brand deal with this air fryer company. They wanted me to make a video about it. So I was like, I kind of made a video where I like fall in love with the air fryer, and then
the ending, dude.
Video,
oh God.
Wait, was that in the video where I'm in bed with it?
Yeah, you take off your robe or whatever, and you're like 99.9% naked to the camera.
Yep. That's right. They asked me to take that part out. The company, I was like, no, I'm leaving that in there.
The one I saw had it. Yeah. I didn't see the official website version. That was just, I was like, this is so awesome.
That was fun. I love making videos for companies. That's the best. It's so fun.
Well, the thing is, like, so if some other company sees the air fryer video, they know what they're getting. They expect that kind of, silliness. So they're going to get it. There you go.
You got to have a little bit of an edge to hire me, but it's all good. Like Morgan & Morgan, the law firm, we did a video together where I was Santa, but I was injured Santa. So I was like Santa on crutches and in a neck brace doing stand-up on the subway.
That's great.
With like Christmas lights strung around me. Like I just had a bad accident. That was really fun.
See? And like you said earlier, a lot of this stems from just what we live in now, the world we live in. Everybody's on their phones and social media. So like I don't watch Saturday Night Live like I used to, but I catch the clips all the time. Yeah, so I feel like I watch the show, but I don't really watch the show. But they know that, and that's why they're putting them out
I watched it on YouTube in bed the next morning.
Right. And, it's like, I was like, oh, yeah, Paul McCartney was on there. I didn't know that. So Will Ferrell was on. Like, I had no idea. And I'm watching all these clips and videos and things. It's like, this is how we consume this stuff now. And you've hit a spark there with that where you put them on Instagram, and I'm scrolling through and like, oh, is the guy just like a stormtrooper? I'm totally going to watch this because I like comedy and I like Star Wars. There's no way I won't watch this. And man,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Another one I wanted to ask you about too was the steaks on a plane video.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. That is
kind of a bit
nuts.
of a bummer.
Yeah.
Bit of a bummer, but during the pandemic, I wanted to make a video. This was before the subway stuff that would go viral, and I was, first of all, you're never really sure what's gonna take off or not. So I made this video where it looked like I was grilling a steak in the bathroom of an airplane during a flight, and I had a flashlight in the toilet that flickered like flame, and the editing just looked really good. It looked like a real fire in the toilet. It looked like the steak was actually cooking. It was just, some editing effects, some little editing tricks. But I posted the video. I filmed it in an actual Delta bathroom during a flight.
That's great.
But I posted that video. And
Too bad it wasn't spirits, by the way.
I know.
Maybe you could have got away with it more.
I know.
Actually, you expect that. You expect that in a spirit bathroom.
Totally. And then, so it went super viral. I got a call from Delta the next day. They put me on the no-fly list. I still cannot fly on Delta 6 years later.
That's crazy.
It's so crazy. And like the reason it's ridiculous is because you couldn't actually get away with that. You couldn't actually grill a steak in the bathroom of an airplane without anyone noticing.
Right.
Take it back to your seat and eat it. And they're like, well, there could be copycats. And like, no, you're still not going to get away with it. You couldn't even, you know what I mean? So like, it just doesn't make any, they're a private company. They can,
right.
ban anyone they want to. I get it. It does suck because I was like a frequent flyer on Delta.
I was gonna say
gold medallion status. I had 40,000 miles in my bank. I lost it all.
Man.
They just closed my account, and I tried to fly on them again. Because let's just see what happens. If I really not fly, and I couldn't. They wouldn't even let me check in. And they're like, "You're on the no-fly list." I'm like, "Oh
man,
still." So yeah, it kind of sucks.
So that's just for Delta. You can still do United or name your airline.
I can still do United, American, JetBlue, Southwest. So there's still a few options, but they're all going to merge eventually, and I don't know what I'll do.
Yeah, because obviously your job, which you do, requires you to travel. So unfortunately, the Delta thing probably, really, and not. I'm making jokes about Spirit, but unfortunately, with them not being around, you're right. It's going to be monopolized, and there's less options, and therefore the airline tickets are costing more because there's less, competition. So yeah, that's got to be a harder gig for you to figure out. Like, how the hell am I going to get to, Utah? And I can't get on Delta.
Totally. It does. Yeah, it sucks. And, but I talk about it a lot of times in my shows about the stakes situation. And it definitely is a crowd pleaser. Like a lot of people really like that story. I show the video. I talk about it. I really wish I did it on like an airline I never fly.
Right.
But I didn't know it was going to be such a big deal. I didn't know it was going to blow up in my face. And I have Stakes on a Plane t-shirts now I sell because rental cars are expensive. And just trying to monetize it, any way I can. But yeah, it's my bad. Sorry, Delta. Please unban me if you hear this.
That's so great, though. I mean, here's the thing. Like, was it worth it? Maybe not, but it's hilarious. It's going to live on YouTube forever. The videos, everybody listening, please go check it out and go watch it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you got some blowback from it, but, at the end of the day, it was still a good bit. And
exactly.
I'm glad you did it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I made a good video. I should be proud of it.
There you go. Speaking of, was there ever like an idea you had to scrap? Like you were going to go on a train, you're like, you know what? I can't dress up as this person. You just didn't feel like it was the proper time. Maybe like something that's too, like we talk about something scary or political. Has there been a couple that you've had to shelve because of times that we're living in or anything like that?
Nothing. That's a great question. Nothing too crazy. I try not to get too, even though I've done like ICE and Trump supporter on the train.
Right.
I never try to get too political. I like when people like kind of fight in the comments or have a lively discussion in the comments. Not fight, but I like when people are respectful to each other in the comments. And that usually happens when I do a character that's more controversial. But there's never been one where I've had to scrap or. I did Jeffrey Epstein on the subway. I felt like that one could have been insensitive, but the jokes I did, I thought were pretty, like, they weren't too bad.
Right, you're not for Epstein. You're not up there telling jokes, that make him look good or anything, right? So
right, of course, yeah. Just like if Epstein was doing stand-up, this is what I think it would look like. So I think because I'm also playing a character and it's satire, people are understanding of, like, most people, at least on the internet, maybe not on the subway, but on the internet, they're like, okay, we get that this is satire, and if they don't understand it, there's enough people who do get it that'll back me up. So that's good. But there's nothing really that I has said no to. I wanted to do a nudist on the subway.
Oh, jeez.
But I wasn't sure how to do it. So I actually look like completely naked without you seeing anything. I'm not sure how to do that. But that's something I've been wanting to do for a while. I have a list of like subway characters that I haven't done yet. I keep them in my notes app, and there's like 50 that I have written down that I haven't done yet. So as soon as none of them are too crazy. They're just like, I just don't know if like a FIFA player for like the World Cup would be a good one because
right,
it's happening in New York. Freddie Mercury would be a good one. But then I have like Insane Clown Posse written down. I'm like, will people really know who ICP is?
Right.
Maybe it would be funny. I think I have to do that. Actually, that would be pretty funny.
There you go. You get to wear clown makeup, right? So
yeah. I just did Kiss on the subway, and I wore Kiss makeup, and
that's awesome.
that kind of, when you asked if anyone was kind of scared, I did like the whole Gene Simmons outfit, and I don't think there were any young kids on the train, but I was worried that I was going to be a little scary for people, like young kids, and I never want to be scary. So whenever I see young kids, I try to just like avoid them at all costs, or be silly in front of them so they know I'm not like a monster or like
not threatening, right?
No.
Now you just reminded me. Some years ago, I dressed up as Rick from The Walking Dead. I don't know if you're a fan of the show or not, but
that's cool.
I had fake blood. I took off mostly everything, but I forgot about the fake blood on my face. So I went to a Panda Express, and some kids like was screaming, he's scared. I'm like, oh shit, what happened? And I'm like, let me go to the car and wipe this off before I order my rice and orange chicken or whatever. But so I
that's so funny.
I could see that happening, where you get on the train and maybe there's some small kid who's like, holy crap, he's dressed up as a zombie. I got to get off the next stop because my kid cannot handle this. So I'm sure that's very few and far if it even happens to you, right? So
totally,
yeah. But yeah, man, if you ever do a Walking Dead one, I'm all over it. Put it on. I'll be.
Walking Dead one, that would be good.
Yeah.
I did a zombie.
Right. So you're right there. You're right next to it.
Yeah, I love that.
And I'm a big hip hop fan. I saw you did some rapper versions. Now I'm an old school hip hop head, so if you ever do like a Run DMC or BC Boys, like an old school guys one, that would be pretty cool to see as well. Not to make you, you're not like a jukebox. I'm not trying to give you ideas that you have to do or anything, but man, I'm just thumbing through. I'm like, oh, what else has he done? What else has he done that's up my alley? You know what I mean? Because I'm all into this nerd stuff. That's what this podcast is about. Is nerd crap and pop culture stuff. So you're hitting all
I'm
the. I'm
thinking about doing a wrestler again.
Oh, that'd be great.
Because I'm a huge wrestling fan.
Yeah, man.
And I'm going on the Jericho cruise.
Oh.
And a lot of my friends are wrestlers, and I'm like, I think a wrestler again would be good. I think I have enough jokes, with TKO now taking over and with like all this, AEW. I think there's a lot of more stuff I can do.
Yeah, man. I just had Barry Horowitz on the podcast about a month or so ago. I don't know if you remember him.
Really?
From the 80s. Yeah, he's got used to pat himself on the back. Because I grew up on like Macho Man and Ricky Steamboat and stuff, but I still watch, not as much as I used to, but I still watch, a lot of the AEW stuff in WWE, But that's cool, man. I mean, that's right. There you go. You could work out some more jokes with them, and if you're around them, your audience, then you'll know for sure that you're definitely telling the jokes to the right audience there. If you're gonna have them there, that's pretty cool, man.
Totally, yeah, I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah, so you brought up the T-shirts. I know they can get them on the website if you want to promote the website and promote your YouTube.
You can go to marcusmerch.com for T-shirts, posters. I sign a poster, put it in a tube, mail it to you, and I'll throw in some. I got Subway stickers, some of my characters. I made into stickers, so if you buy a poster, I'll put those in the poster tube for you. And I also make a custom video thanking you for buying a poster. I'll send it to you as well. It's only $20. What a great deal!
Yeah,
you get stickers, a video, and a poster. Pretty good. My shows you can find out at marcusmonroe.com. Coming to Chicago, Detroit, Pittsburgh, Charlotte, Rochester, Lafayette, Mobile, Birmingham. I'm going New York, New Jersey, Sunnyvale, California, Phoenix. I'm going all over.
That's awesome. And these are such different cities too. So your crowds are going to be just all over the map, literally, because you're gonna have different types of vibes throughout. I mean, I can't even imagine.
I love it.
Yeah, man, like a Detroit crowd versus an Arizona crowd is gonna be so different. But hey,
so
man,
different.
But that's cool, man. And obviously you're not gonna be on Delta going to these places, but
nope.
you'll be getting there some kind of way.
Thanks for reminding me. Appreciate it.
No, man. I didn't. When you said it was you're on the no-fly list, I was like, maybe that's a bit. It's like, no, he really is. Oh, that's
unfortunately,
hilarious.
Yeah. I made a mistake.
Hey,
Too bad.
kids at home, make sure you don't make steak in the bathroom of a plane.
Yes, please learn from my mistakes. No pun intended.
But try juggling because it's fun.
Juggling's a good time. Good eye-hand coordination. Yeah, you can learn a lot.
Man, August 13th in the Chicago area here. Make sure you go out to the Comedy Bar where Marcus Monroe will be. And he named off a bunch of cities. If you're listening and you happen to be in Arizona or New Jersey, he's going to be there too. So make sure you follow him online. And I know your Instagram is where I first found you. And I'm assuming that's where most people watch a lot of your videos is Instagram. And I saw you have a YouTube as well.
Yes, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I'm on everything. If you send me a message, I'll try my best to get back to you. But yeah, come see the live show. It's a lot of fun. And I meet everyone afterwards, so come hang out with me.
That's right. And you have a podcast too, right? I don't want to let you go without promoting that.
The Boyfriends podcast. I do it with my buddies Corey B and Matt Lopes, who also are pretty big on the internet. I love those boys, and we talk with other comedians, other celebrities, other musicians, and it's a great podcast. That comes out every Monday on YouTube and Spotify. The Boyfriends podcast.
There you go. Everybody, make sure you check out the podcast, check out the live show, and of course, watch the Subway videos and check out the air fryer video. There's so much content. I'll put links in the show notes when I post the episode here. Hey, Marcus, thanks so much for coming on the podcast. It was such an honor. Yeah, man, it was fun, and you're a pro at podcasting. I'm looking at the timer; it's like exactly an hour. So you did not go.
Oh, that's perfect.
Did not do the full infinite banter like I sometimes do, where it's like an hour later than I wanted. But thanks so much for doing this, man. And everybody out there, make sure you check out Marcus Monroe and on all your social media platforms, and check him out in a comedy venue near you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you guys. Thanks for listening. See you on the road.
Yeah, or a subway train. If you see a guy dressed up like a piece of cheese, don't get scared.
Totally.
He's going to give you some good jokes.
Totally. Absolutely.
Man, that was a lot of fun talking with Marcus Monroe. Really was looking forward to doing this episode. Big up to Marcus Monroe. Make sure you follow him on Instagram and Facebook. Check out his YouTube channel. And once again, if you want to see him do his stand-up live, you could check him out at punchup.live/Marcus Monroe. You could also go to his shop.marcusmonroe.com. And that's a true story I was telling about on Halloween. This had to be like 2014. I was dressed up as Rick from The Walking Dead, and I had put fake blood on like my cheeks or whatever to, anybody who watches the show, I don't have to explain it. It was the first time I ever went to a Panda Express. I had never eaten there before, by the way. So that was the other part I didn't think of at the time I was talking to Marcus here. Of course, I left my, fake machete in the car, but I forgot that I had the fake blood on my face. And there was a kid who saw me, and he's like, and then the mom's like, explain to him, this is Halloween. People do stupid shit and walk around with fake blood on their face and scare kids. So it wasn't my intent, but as I was ordering my Kung Pao chicken or orange chicken or whatever I ordered, that was the first time I ever ate Panda Express. And I remember thinking at the time, like, this is kind of like a McDonald's, version of a Chinese restaurant. It's fast food. It's very, sugary. It tastes good. Probably not good for you. Isn't authentic whatsoever. But here I am. So I don't think I've eaten it too much. Maybe in my lifetime, I've probably been there, 10 times. And that being my first time over 10 years ago. So it's like once a year. I haven't been there yet this year. I think I'm due for a Panda Express without blood on my face visit. I think I need to go get some governor's chicken or whatever. But yeah, it was really cool talking to Marcus. And he's coming to Chicago on August 13th, which is a Thursday, 7 o'clock. I'm definitely going to make sure I get out there and check him out. I encourage all my Chicago listeners to go do the same. I saw he's at a bunch of other cities, so definitely go check him out. Unfortunately, he's got to find different airline to fly. Go check out that Steaks on a Plane video because of, obviously what happened with him. Make it worth it and make that thing go viral. Go watch it a bunch of times. It's pretty hilarious. I would never have thought of something like that. It's pretty funny. It's on his YouTube. Go check him out. He's got juggling videos on there. He's juggling with Neil Patrick Harris. I'm just like, what is this? This is crazy. I love falling down the rabbit hole when I go on YouTube, and his channel is definitely a rabbit hole worth falling into. Fall down that hole. All right, let's wrap up the show and talk about my favorite movies that are based on train travel here on the Infinite Banter podcast. My top six. My six. There's got to be a better way to present that. The six. The Sinister Six. There we go. I got it. The Cinema Six. Does that work? Is this thing on? Hello? Stay tuned for that.
Hey, what's up, world? This is Iron E. Singleton. Just giving a plug for my man, Mark Jolliffe of Infinite Banter. Y'all better check him out. You understand? because he is a WWF fan, NWA fan. That means he's got wrestling chops, and he'll come see about you. You better check out his show.
Time for you to leave, asshole.
All right, that is Kirk Acevedo telling me to get out of here. That's exactly what I'm going to do. But as always, it's not my stop. Got to stay on the train for a little while and talk about what I teased at the beginning. All this talk about train travel and everything we talked about with Marcus Monroe had me thinking about some of my favorite movies I've seen that are based on trains. There's actually a lot more than I could, that I even thought of. I started looking like lists of, people who made their favorite lists or whatever, which I didn't know. I thought I was the first one to ever do this. I didn't know other people thought of this subject before. I thought I was the only idiot who thought making a list about movies based on trains was something to do. And I thought I started it. Apparently others have done it before. I'm not copying their lists. I just wanted to see if there's a movie I forgot about. There were a couple that popped up like, oh yeah, that movie. Before I get into the list, I do not count planes, trains, and automobiles, even though train is even in the title. But those of us who've seen that movie, we know the train travel in it is very quick. It's not even that memorable, to be honest. So I don't feel like it counts because there's other methods of travel. That's a travel movie. That's a holiday movie, but it's not a train movie. If I'm wrong, let me know, because it would be number one if it is. But I don't count it as a train movie. I think it's more of a burned car movie. So whatever. But, if someone out there says that I'm wrong, I will amend this list because it would probably be my number one. But I feel like it's not really a train movie. I want to where the train is the sole purpose of the movie. Like, it's got to be about a train. The train is what the movie is. And a couple of these have train in the title. So here we go. And this is my favorite. I'm not saying these are the best. There's better ones than probably this. I did notice a lot of the train movies that I was looking up are older. Like a lot older, like before I was born older, and movies that I've never seen. I've heard of them. Obviously, it has to do with, the times. I mean, people travel by train a lot more in those, early days, 50s, 60s, 70s, where now people are on the train just to go to work or whatever. It's more commuting. But back then, people traveled across the country to get to A to B. So you'd be on a train for days. So therefore, making a movie about it was more realistic. I've never even been on I did go on an Amtrak train. What am I talking about? I went this year. I went from D.C. to Baltimore. But that was like 3 stops. It didn't feel like, I was doing that. I never done the go from, this part of the country to that part of the country on a train before. I've never done it. So here's the list. And of course, if I had done something cross country, Marcus, can you do like a 4-day set on the train car? Is that possible? So here we go. My 6. And as I said earlier, I just picked 6 because I just wrote 6, movies down, and that's why I got the 6. So here are the 6. My number 6 is Terror Train from 1980. When I name these 3 people that are starring in it, you're going to be like, wow, I kind of want to see that. Or you're going to be like, no, that sounds horrible. It's Jamie Lee Curtis, and it's right in her heyday, right after Halloween and everything. David Copperfield, Vanity, and you know who I didn't write down on my notes? I don't know the actor's name. The guy who played Ellis in Die Hard. I believe he's in this as well. So Terror Train is exactly what the title sounds like. It's a horror movie on a train. There's magic, because David Copperfield's in it, and stuff happens. And it's pretty scary. It's actually one of those horror movies that I feel is very underrated. Doesn't get a lot of props, but it is my number 6. So go check out Terror Train if you've not seen it. Speaking of trains, there's also Train to Busan. So we're going to stick with the horror theme. That's my number 5. This came out in 2016. Probably the newest movie. Yeah, it is the newest movie I have on here. It's a Korean horror movie. It's basically zombies on a train. There's a father trying to get his family out of the city to Busan and get away from the apocalypse that's starting, behind him. And there's a lot of action in it. He's moving from train car to train car and trying to get away from these zombies as the commuters start changing. I think I saw this around COVID time, and I was just blown away by it. So if you've never seen it, I love zombies. I like those kind of movies. Go check out Train to Busan from 2016. Really great horror flick. My number 4 is a movie that actually has a remake that I like, but the original I think is better, and that's Taking of the Pelham 1, 2, 3, and that's starring Walter Matthau and Robert Shaw. You remember from Jaws. He was in Jaws. The remake is actually pretty decent, too. It's got Denzel Washington in it and John Travolta. I believe that was directed by Tony Scott. That remake's pretty good as well, but the original is just a little more grimier, grittier, I think the first time I heard about that movie was there's a Beastie Boy lyric where in Sure Shot, they're like, taking of the Pelham 1, 2, 3. And I remember I had no idea what that lyric meant, but when this movie crossed my path, I'm like, oh, they're talking about this. I get it. So yeah, definitely go check out the original if you haven't seen it. But like I said, the remake is really well done. I definitely recommend the remake as well. But if I had to pick between the two, it would be the original of Taking of the Pelham 123, where a bank robber takes over the train in New York, and there's a policeman who has to try to get everybody off that train before he makes things worse. North by Northwest, an Alfred Hitchcock movie. As you can tell, a lot of these movies have an element of suspense in them. So Alfred Hitchcock's classic North by Northwest with Cary Grant is my number 3. I remember it's the first time I ever saw Mount Rushmore on a TV or whatever. And there's like a scene where Cary Grant's character's like, I think he's fighting some guy on Mount Rushmore. It's pretty crazy. Definitely North by Northwest should be something you watch. I'm a big Alfred Hitchcock fan. It's not my favorite Alfred Hitchcock movie, but it's definitely in the top 5 for sure. And North by Northwest is one of those classic. It's a throwback. You watch and you just feel like you're in that time. And of course, Cary Grant is like, one of the best actors of all time. So go check out North by Northwest. Wrapping it up here, number 2 is From Russia with Love, and it fits that it's number 2 because it's the second Bond movie. So that would make sense. 1963, Sean Connery. There's some great fight scenes in it. There's that one in the really tight train corridor room or whatever. And I would definitely recommend, if you're a Bond fan at all, a lot of them hold this movie with high regard as like their favorite. Came out after Dr. No. Some would say this is the best Bond movie. It's not my favorite, but it's definitely high on that list. And From Russia with Love should be high on your train list, as it is on mine. That's number 2. And my number 1, it's Silver Streak with Richard Pryor, Gene Wilder. Man, I love this movie to death. I used to watch it all the time as a kid. WGN, which is a superstation here in the Chicago area, which would blast out to other cities as well. They would have like a Pryor week or a Gene Wilder week, and this movie would come on along with, Stir Crazy. And I would just be so geeked, like, oh, man, Silver Streak is coming on. I love this movie so much. There's some great cameos in it, like Richard Kiel is in it, who's also in a Bond movie. There's that goofball policeman who's in this movie, who you saw also in a Bond movie, Clifton James, who popped up in other James Bond movies like The Man with the Golden Gun and Live and Let Die. He was like this bumbling sheriff who couldn't figure things out, but he was along for the ride with Roger Moore in those James Bond movies. So it's kind of a connection to, the last one I listed, From Russia with Love. So Silver Streak is just great. One of my favorite movies. I could watch that movie any day. It pops on the TV and I could just watch it. Big fan of Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder. So that is my favorite train movie, unless you tell me Planes, Trains, and Automobiles count. But Silver Streak, no, you know what? I'm going to hold my ground. Silver Streak is my favorite train movie. You can't move me on this. There were some other movies I thought about, like Throw Mama from the Train, and what was it, like Under Siege 2? Wasn't that on a train? There's some other ones, but no, these are the 6 that I'm going to run with. So number 6 is Terror Train, 5 is Train to Busan, 4 is Taking of the Pelham 123, the original, not the remake. Number 3 is North by Northwest. Number 2 is From Russia with Love, and number 1 is Silver Streak. I should watch Silver Streak as soon as I stop recording this podcast. That's how much I love that movie. All right, we're back in the station. Time to get off this train. This Infinite Banter subway is done. We've hit our last stop. Make sure you check the show out on all platforms. Rate and review it. Go to YouTube. Type in Infinite Banter for episodes and clips and the things and stuff videos, and our sponsor, super7.com/Infinite Banter Podcast. Nothing but thanks for my man Marcus Monroe for coming on the show. Make sure you see him live by checking out punchup.live/Marcus Monroe. Find him in a city near you. He will be in Chicago on August 13th at the Comedy Bar. Can't wait to check him out. And check out his videos and everything on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and places like that. So once again, thanks to Marcus Monroe. Thanks for putting up with my list. And until you do another one of these, maybe I should get on a train and see if somebody will be dressed up as some character. Although in the Chicago trains, they're dressed up like something. It's not for fun and laughs. All right, that's it for me. I'm out of here. Until I do another one of these, I'm out.
Hey, asshole, get off the road.
You couldn't actually grill a steak in the bathroom of an airplane without anyone noticing.
Right.
Take it back to your seat and eat it.
Being on the Infinite Banter with my man Mark has been a pleasure.